Hi. Uh, I'm not quite certain about what exactly I'm going to say in this video. I just know that I need to say what I need to say. I don't even think that makes sense, but I have been someone who has loved to share things online. Naturally, I'm a teacher. And I think it's something I get from my mom because she's also been a teacher of people in her life and literally a teacher. And I also have had a job where I was a teacher literally. So this work of like learning, it's not just teaching, it's like learning and then sharing what I'm learning, not in a way to like instruct people on what they need to do, but just because I'm so passionate. I don't even know how to describe this. Like when I learn something, I just want to let people know about it. And something so beautiful happened. I was creating this space very organically online based on some of the things that I've learned, and for a long time I was one person who would talk about things that people were not comfortable talking about. It's like I used to talk about these taboo topics, and it's funny because my government name is Taboo, so not taboo, but close enough. And I loved doing this because it just felt so good to me to be the space where nothing was off limits, and also I could give people the opportunity to just share and feel free and not feel like they have to be so restrained and live just in one box. Like it felt so good to be part of the voices online that were talking about, just being able to be authentic and be yourself. And that came with so many amazing experiences. I've been able to talk to so many different people. I've been able to hear stories of people that they probably wouldn't have shared with me otherwise. I was able to do things like create a body love campaign called Flaunt It, which was talking about how to celebrate your flaws. I also had a great opportunity to be on TV, in newspapers, on podcasts, speaking in panels. I had the opportunity to create this wonderful sex positive space with someone who I considered a really great friend called Skills and Kinks. I've been able to build Inner Space Explorer, and all these things have happened because I haven't been shy about talking about things authentically and being vulnerable and sharing myself online. And there was a time when the online space was more welcoming when it came to stuff like this. It's interesting because I actually feel people have become more open-minded with time, and now I'm not the only person talking about sex or not wanting to have kids. Like these are things that so many people all over the world are now talking about. But what has happened is, and I guess it also happened as my platform grew, I suddenly was not just connecting with people who were aligned with the things that I was talking about. I also started having to interact with people who were trolling. And this is the thing. I think disagreeing is always a part of life. Just because one thing works for someone doesn't mean it's going to work for everyone. And I think it also enriches our experiences when we're able to disagree with each other and maybe bring different points of view. But it wasn't that. I started experiencing trolling and people actually, I don't like to use this word, but bullying, I guess, would be it. And there's something that shifted something for me, and it's not up until recently that I've really been able to understand specifically. And with sharing this video, I'm probably opening myself up to more trolling and bullying, but I just have to do this because I have felt so blocked creatively when it comes to creating content, which is one of the things that I'm so passionate about, creating content. And I realized it's because of this thing that happened that kind of threw me off my center, and I'm not really fully addressed. I've talked about it here and there, but then I haven't really faced it. And now I'm just like, if I'm going to get back to the place where I'm able to pump out all this content and I have so many ideas. I just need to address this thing so that then I can move on from it and be done with it, because I didn't even know how big this experience was for me, because also at the time there were so many other things that were happening in my life that I couldn't even take the time to process. And one of those things was I was employed full-time, and I got into this job that was in many ways everything that I have ever wanted in work. I was doing work that was so good, that was actually directly impacting the lives of people, and mostly women, which I loved so much. And I got to teach aspects of mental and emotional health to women who inspired me on a daily basis, and I was able to see them change their lives because of the work that we were doing in that organization. And it was such an amazing job, but it was also so intense, and I experienced burnout like I have never had in my life. And it was a very wonderful and very painful experience, because it brought me to a place of completely just being flattened on my knees. There was a lot of stuff that was happening that just was not also very conducive or very healthy. And I had to come to a very hard decision of leaving the organization. And there was also, beyond that, there was just this deep calling that was coming from my soul and my spirit, that was guiding me to come back to what I'm actually truly passionate about. And I was very passionate about that work, and I loved everything that we were doing. But my true love is being in a position, is doing this. To be honest, this is what I love to do. I love to sit and talk and share the things that I've been learning, and connecting with people who are on similar journeys or are like-minded, or can even teach me things. And these are just things that I love to do. And what happened was, I was on Twitter, and this was 2022. I had been going through a really bad cycle of burnout that led to me being sick. I was in a very vulnerable place emotionally. Like, I was so vulnerable, and then at the same time I had burnout, and then I ended up getting sick, and the sickness was related to the burnout. I didn't know that at that time. So in that state, I posted a picture of myself on Twitter, and because now actually I was coming out, I was feeling better. So I posted a picture of myself on Twitter, and I'm like, hey, because I thought I looked cute, and I was about to head to dinner at a friend's house, and that was the first time that I was getting out it felt like a really long time, and especially after being sick. So I post this picture, I go for dinner, I go to my friend's place. By the time I'm coming back home, I'm in the Uber, I'm like on my phone, I'm getting notifications. I'm like, what is this? Why are people reacting so much to this picture? And I look, and somebody has taken they took a screenshot and cropped the picture around my breast area, and was saying that my breasts were sagging. And I've talked about body image on so many different levels, and like I said, I even had a body love campaign. And so I'm just like, this is so ridiculous. First of all, my boobs are amazing. Let's just start there. Number two, I have been like, I am a woman in her late 30s. I'm actually just a few months from turning 40, which I'm so excited about. But there was so much about it that I was just like, this is so gross. First of all, the fact that somebody feels like they can just do something like that and it's okay, and then on top of that, it's just this idea that, and at this time, the manosphere was like on fire, this is when like Red Pill had really caught fire in the global culture, and there was this whole discourse about like women past a certain age, and there's always been that discourse, but I feel like now it had become more mainstream. And so I took a video, and in that video I was just like, this is so ridiculous that somebody can do this and not think about the impact of their actions. And I was really vulnerable in the video. I think I was even tearing up a bit. Big mistake. Because what proceeded to happen after I posted that video was like people took it and ran. And because I got so overwhelmed and I was in such a vulnerable place, I just deleted the video and I deactivated my Twitter account. But the trending continued, and people were pulling like things like clips from interviews I'd done, articles that I had been a part of. Like I don't even know exactly what people said because I just detached from it, and it shocked me that sharing that level of vulnerability in what I thought was just like I didn't think it would end up in such a state, or in such a, I didn't think it would end up being what it was. And from that moment, I felt very exposed. Really, really exposed, especially because I had exposed myself online. I had shared so much about myself and so much about my life, and so much like it made me panic a bit because I was like, oh my God, I have really put myself out there. And for some time, I was even afraid of how this would impact my job, because with the work that we were doing, we had like a morality clause in our contract that if any conduct was made public that wasn't in alignment with the values of the company, that could actually be that could be terms for dismissal. And so I was also nervous because I was like, could this make me lose my job, and that time was such a time of reckoning even within myself. It was weird because I didn't feel particularly traumatized in that moment, also because my community was so, oh my God, my people were so amazing and everybody rallied around me, and nothing in my regular life changed. But I really started to think about the way that I am presenting myself online, because now I was like, yo, I can't just be as open and as vulnerable and as authentic as I've been. I need to be careful about the stuff that I share. So I started to kind of, tread very lightly online. I have never been able to go back to Twitter in the same way, to be honest. Also just because that I had seen people being dragged online, but I never experienced, I never knew how until you're receiving that level of attention, you don't know what it's like. And the funny thing is, there are people who thrive when it comes to receiving that amount of attention. There are people who thrive if they are being put in the middle of controversy. I'm not that kind of person. I don't share the things that I share because I want to be controversial. It's not about having eyes on me or attention on me. It's never been. And I'm not judging people who do that, because I feel like there's a reason for that. And there are people whose brands are built on stuff like that, and that's okay. That's their value system. But for me, it just never was. So to have this was not something that I was able to handle. I'm not also a person who likes to go back and forth with people. I can do it a little bit, but at some point it gets draining. So I didn't want to do, and some guys were in my DM like, give as hard as you're getting. And I'm just like, that's not me. That's not my personality. I don't do this. I'm very careful about the things that I say to people. Typically, the way that I talk to a person, I'm intentional about stuff like that most of the time. But so I wasn't able, I'm not going to go and insult you and take your picture and, also, criticize your appearance. That's just not who I am. And with not having the ability to do that, I didn't know what else, I don't even know how to put this. I didn't know how to fit into the culture of Twitter anymore, because that's just what people do. They just take it in and dish it out. So I started to tread really carefully and lightly online because of that. And the downside of that has been that I don't know how to be here anymore. For a long time, I just did not know what to share, how to share it. I just felt like everything that I wanted, the number of drafts of things that I've had on my Instagram, on my Twitter, on YouTube, because it's like I go to post and then I'm like, I don't want this to be chopped up and misunderstood, So I started really second guessing myself. And it was fine when I was in full-time employment and not really needing to come back and do content. But now that I quit my job earlier this year, and I made the move to actually start following my dreams and build the vision for myself, like the life that I want. So now that I have been wanting to create content, this block has been so difficult to deal with. And I keep telling people, yeah, I'm recording videos, and then they're like, then where are the videos? And I'm just like, they're coming. But it's also because when I go to edit, I'm blocked. I don't know how to exist in this space without being authentically me. And I think I just need to accept that there's a possibility that something like that can happen again. And just do what I feel in my heart to do. And part of it is just sharing this video, because this, by the way, it's not really even for you guys to watch. To be honest, this is for me to finally say these things out loud so that I can release this energy and just start afresh. There was something that happened in about 2010, 11, and this happened on Facebook back in the day when Facebook was a thing. You know, I can't stand it now, but it really was our thing. And it was when I started to talk about the stuff that really mattered to me, the things, especially when it came to things like spirituality and sexuality and mindset and attitude and beliefs and all these things. Like, I just started talking about that stuff. Because I would talk about those things, I started to attract people who were on the same wavelength, and a tribe started to form. And it just felt so good to be able to create that sense of community on Facebook. And it went well into it almost went until 2020. But at some point I just had to give it up because I was tired of Facebook. But I have always been driven to find and create community. And so that's what I want to do now. The stuff that I create, I'm also not trying to package the stuff that I'm going to be talking about in a way that I think would be palatable or attractive to people, because that also just feels so disingenuous. And I think that's what I'd been trying to do with my content, is just be like, haha, I'm talking about these things, but not in a nice way, in a light way, I was really trying to be something that I'm not. And I just don't want to do that anymore, because I know that the more I share authentically, the more that I'll be able to create the community that actually is in alignment with the stuff that I'm sharing or with my values. And so I hope that as I share this stuff, there are people who actually find value in it. But to be honest, that's not why I'm doing it. I'm doing it because this is what is in my heart, and I'm not at peace if I'm not living according to my purpose, and this is part of my purpose. So if you're going to rock with me, with the stuff that I'm going to put out in the near future and beyond, I'm so glad that you're here. I do hope that this channel grows. I hope that I'm able to, interact with more people. I hope that this leads to even more opportunities. I hope that I'm able to create amazing things with this. And I'm not going to be able to know whether I'm going to do that unless I just show up as Tarure the way that I am. So I just wanted to share that. Thank you so much for watching this video. Let me tell you, the funny thing is I've even tried trying to script videos, but that also doesn't work for me. I just need to be able to ramble on in a video and talk from my heart, and that just seems to be the thing that I love to do. So if that is something that you'd like to listen to, I really welcome you here, and I'm excited to engage with you. What I want to do with Inner Space Explorer, and I've already recorded a few videos that I'm editing right now that I'm definitely going to post, especially now that I've talked through this. I love watching series and movies, and for me it's not just even watching the stories, I like to dissect characters and connect with them based on the things that I'm seeing when it comes to their mental and emotional state, their beliefs, the way that they interact with people, the relationships that they have. I'm always I really get into a show, and that's what I do. I also like to watch some reality shows and do that. I also like to observe people in real life and really break down the way that they think, the things that they believe, what perceiving of their character. And so that's really what I want to do here with Inner Space Explorer. And the videos that I have recorded recently that I'm editing, they're about 2 right now, are going to be about stuff like that. I look forward to sharing so much more with you. I have so many ideas, and with time, I think as I keep just putting out the content, I'll be able to gain more confidence and be able to create all these ideas, because I think they're really amazing. Alright, thank you so much for watching, and please remember, above everybody else, you deserve your own unconditional love and acceptance. I will see you in the next video, which will have me wearing this top and looking like I'm just going to look the same, so don't worry about that. I recorded both videos on the same day. Alright, thank you so much. I'll see you in the next one. Bye!